Hey guys, we are back again. As you know, you're here with the STD Life Coach, Belize Spivey. I help men and women who are living with the virus overcome the stigma. That's exactly what I do. I give them education, I give them support, and I give them encouragement. So, as y'all know, we are on the Disclosing series right now. If you have not seen the last video, make sure you go back to the last video on what was that last video on, y'all got me, I'm tripping. When to disclose. Okay, when to disclose. This video is how to disclose. So when, and today is how. Disclosure, just like I did on the last video, it's important to know that everything that I say pertaining to disclosure may not be what works for you. I want you to know this is a template. I want you to know this is a template, and that it's just something to give you an idea of what you can do or what things that have worked for my clients. The two type of templates I'm going to give you today work for my clients. Many of my clients have used it. It worked awesome. Many of them came out of that situation with that person and they're in a relationship, or if they end up being with that person, it may not stay together, but it may be because of something else. But I'm just saying this is a really healthy way to disclose. It kind of gave them a little bit more confidence. They can kind of go into this disclosure without figuring out what the heck I'm going to say. But at the end of the day, this is a good way, two good ways that you can kind of start off your disclosure or use throughout your disclosure. I'm going to give you some don'ts first. When you disclose, don't tell a person you need to tell them something. Everybody run. I use this analogy. I just did a session with a young lady. She wanted to tell a guy that she met, whatever. And I told her, do not tell him you got to tell him something. It's like punching a person in the mouth and they don't know why they got punched. They have no clue. They're caught off guard. They scared. They're trying to figure out what you're going to say. So it's best to say, don't ever tell a person you got to tell them something. That's just not a way to go about it. So number one, don't say you got to tell them something. And don't text you got to tell them something or call them and say, when you get a chance, let's talk because I got to tell you. Ugh, don't do that to people. It is set up. You got a person freaking out, thinking of the worst. And you don't want a person thinking what you're going to say. And when you tell them, they still stuck on what they thought you were going to say. It's just best for you to kind of come out so they can kind of handle everything you got to say other than what they thought you were going to say. So number one, do not say that. Another thing is, this is not really a do or a don't. It's not really a don't, but I will tell you, it's best to communicate the way that you communicate. If you text, cool. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with texting. It's texting a disclosure. But I feel like don't use it as a cop-out either. You know, it's always best to go based off the communication that y'all do on the most. If that's FaceTiming, if that's seeing each other, if that's talking on the phone, whatever, texting, whatever that is, if that's the way y'all communicate the most, it's not uncommon for you to talk that way. So it'll be interesting, for example, if y'all always FaceTime and all of a sudden you pick up the phone and say, oh, I want to call. You're like, why? We always FaceTime. We never talk on the phone. It calls a red flag in the brain. So I just say keep the communication the same way. Even with disclosure, keep it the same way. Now, individuals say, if you're nervous about this type of person, if you know this person is abusive or any situation or what situation you're in where you feel like you're going to be in danger, I would say stay out of that person's face at all costs. Like, don't see this person nowhere. So you could just say safe. But if you're just nervous, things like that, I would say keep the communication the same so you don't raise any red flags. I never want anybody to raise any red flags at a conversation that's coming. You kind of just want the conversation to come, especially with this type of situation. You kind of just want to tell the situation, deal with it at hand, without them kind of having an idea something's going on. Okay, so that's another, not a pro and a con, but it's kind of something that I learned over time, that you kind of just want to keep the communication the same because you don't want to raise a red flag. Okay, so how to disclose. So your two templates. So your first template. The first template is this simple. Depending on the situation with the person, how long you've been talking to the person, like I said, by now, you don't talk to the person for a couple of weeks. Y'all don't made a connection. Y'all know y'all both are interested in each other. Y'all have not had any sexual contact, no kissing, no fondling, no oral sex, no any of that at this time. So you'll tell that person, I really do like you. We are, we pretty much made a connection with each other. I can see, we both on say that we can see each other being with each other, and we talked about moving forward. But before we move forward, I want to share something with you. Some things that happened in my past, I want to share with you. You know, you don't tell me some deep things. It's only if the person have told you some things that's, you know, really dear and near to their heart. Or you say, you know what, you don't make me comfortable where I feel like I can tell you this now because I've been uncomfortable to tell you. Cool. And you'll go into it. Well, whatever the story may be, go into your story. Whatever your story is. If that story is, I found out because I've been raped. I've been raped, tell that story. Found out from my ex-boyfriend, tell that story. I was sleeping with this guy, tell that story. First boyfriend, tell the story. Ex-husband cheated, tell the story. Whatever the story is, tell the story into detail. As you tell that story, say, you know, in the midst of all of that, I found out I contracted herpes. Do not, I'm going to tell you this, do not say HSV. Nobody truly knows what HSV is. And if you hear the H and you hear the V, you think HIV. You do not want to be telling a person that you have herpes and they think you got HIV. I'm not saying there's anything bad about that, but you don't want to have that confusion early. Like, don't even put yourself in a predicament to be confused. And don't say H either. As much as y'all want to kind of like, I don't want to say it. If you don't want to say it, you ain't ready to date. I'm going to tell you this. If you can't say the word, you're just not ready to date. And it's okay, because at the end of the day, you got to be okay with the fact that you have herpes. And if you can't say herpes, you're just not ready for this thing yet. Because you don't want any gray areas pertaining to what you're trying to disclose. You don't want to try to figure out what you're talking about. You don't want to have to explain. You only want no confusion. You want it in your face, this what it is, and what your decision may be. You don't want to have them to try to kind of, oh, well, I said, and now that person like, oh, no, I can't deal with it. You don't want to deal with that. And then they be like, no, I'm good with all of that. You know, so my whole thing is, it's best to say I contracted herpes than saying anything like that, you know, because it causes confusion. Especially if you're talking fast or mumbling or crying or anything like that. Anybody here at H and a V typically think it's HIV. Just say herpes. It's easier to say. Everybody kind of know what herpes is. They know the word. They may not know the meaning, or they may not know the education behind it. But we all heard it before within the media within a couple of years with all the celebrities and things like that. So they will know the word when they hear it. Okay? So it's best to say the word. So I want to go back over this. Beginning. I like you, you like me, you know, we really have made a great connection, you know, all these things like that. You know, we talked about, you know, seeing where this relationship is going, but in the midst of that, it's some things that I do want to share with you that happened in my past. Go into the story. Boom. I'm a strong believer in, I ain't saying butter a person up, but prepare the person that I'm telling you this because I trust you. I'm telling you this because I feel like you're a person I need to tell. I feel like you're a person who needs to know where we're going. This is going to be beneficial information for you to where we're going. This ain't something to tell somebody that you don't see nothing going nowhere. And I mean, including sex. If you don't see anything going here, don't disclose. No point. Don't waste your time, because there's no point. Like, you're only telling people this if you see you going to a serious relationship or it's just sex, one or the other. If it's not that, it's no point of telling it, okay? So the second way to disclose is this. Same way in the beginning. You know, I like you. Things of that nature, they've been good. You know, you've been throwing hints about sex and things like that. But, you know, let's have the sex talk. You know, birds and the bees. You know, let's have the sex. I mean, you can be silly or be yourself or whatever. But at the end, it's like, well, let's have the sex talk. You know, when the last time you've been tested? Number one. When the last time you've been tested? They're going to tell you whatever that may be. Okay? Then you're like, okay, cool. When the last time, and you can say when the last time you've been tested too. And then you can say, well, last time you've been sexual, or I don't like to do it in that order, I'm sorry. When the last time you've been sexual active? So, when the last time you don't kiss somebody, last time you had oral sex, fondling, penetration of any sort? They'll tell you. They're going to ask you the same question you answer. Ask them, you know, when the last time you've been tested? They answer the question, you answer the question. Then you say, have you ever contracted STD? They'll answer your question, you answer the question. In the midst of these answer the question, typically you can ask all these questions before they ask you a question, or it may be a give and take. Even if it's a give and take, you still tell your story in it. It's a conversation. I don't want, the thing about it is hard about telling herpes is because we're looking at it as, I got to just come out and say it. No, if you make it a conversation, or make it more of a, I'm including you into this conversation with me, or I'm telling you this information because of you, or it's because of you made me feel a type of way, then it makes it easier for you to tell, other than, oh, okay, well, hey, hope you had a great day, but, you know, I contract herpes when I was 15. You know, it's hard to kind of just start that conversation other than kind of preparing for the conversation and making that person realize that they're included in the conversation and you want them to be involved in the conversation that y'all are having. You don't want to feel like I'm just telling you something. I want you to be involved. I want you to be actively listening. I want you to realize that you're important to me, and that's the reason why I'm telling you it. So you'll go into saying, you know, we having a sex talk. You know, when the last time you had, you know, sexual relations? When the last time you've been tested? And, you know, have you ever had an STD? When they get to a point where it may happen, where they say when the last time you've been sexually active, you tell them. When the last time you've been tested, you tell them. And in the midst of you, like, you know, if you ever had an STD, and they're like, no, man, I ain't never had anything. And don't let that discourage you, okay? Don't let that discourage you at all, because many people had gonorrhea, chlamydia, and they don't want to say that they had an STD because it got cured. You know, they can cure it up, or a trig, or whatever, anything like that. But you're like, well, I end up contracting an STD. And they're like, what? What is it? Whatever. And you can just tell them, like, you know, tell your story. Don't just say it. Tell the story. So you're like, you know, I was dating this dude, or I was married, or, you know, I was in a situation where I got taken advantage of, and I end up finding out I have herpes. Boom. So now you done told the story. So you got your first template, you got the second template. Those are two ways that you can say or tell a person you have herpes. That's it. I am not going to go too deep. But those are two templates that you can use. Two templates you can use. Like I said, they're very effective. They let that person know that you care about them. You're asking questions pertaining to y'all relationship and how this relationship is going to go forward. You let that person know that, hey, I know the connection is here. So let's go a little bit deeper pertaining to information pertaining to me. Or also them, because you never know, that person may come out and say, oh my God, man, I've been wanting to figure out how I'm going to tell you this. And I do too. You know, so... But in the midst of that, after each of those templates, either one that you use, it's important after you disclose that information not to say anything. Just close your mouth, you know. Just get quiet. Don't say anything. And I know you mean awkward silence. Yes, awkward silence. Give that person time to think. Give that person time to process what you said. Give that person time to respond. Don't respond for them. Don't spit off all these stats. Don't sit there and tell all these facts. Don't sit there and act like the person is not educated. You don't know what this person may know. So don't assume that they don't know anything. A lot of us, just because it's no education around here, doesn't mean everybody's uneducated. So it's important to allow them to think and allow them to control the conversation from that point. They will ask you what they want to know. Don't assume what you need to tell them. Let them tell you what they want to know. So these are certain questions they may ask you. Are you on any medication? How many outbreaks do you have? Do you have any outbreaks? Do you know what caused your outbreaks? Do we have to use condoms? Or is it mandatory to always use condoms? Can we perform oral sex on each other? Can we have kids? These are the main questions that you're going to get. That's pretty much the main question you're going to get. In the midst of that, answer all the questions. And it's important for you to put this out here. You want to ask them. And this question is very, very vital. So listen. Do you see yourself being with me? Can you see yourself being with me knowing that information? Can you see yourself being with me knowing that information? We'll make the connection, all these things. I don't told you this. Can you see yourself being with me? These are your answers that you may get. Yes, this doesn't bother me. We're going to figure it out. Maybe I'm not quite sure. I don't know yet. And then you got absolutely, oh, no, I can't deal with that. With your person, yes, still educate them. Still make sure y'all on the same page. Being safe. Person in the middle, give them time. Let that person think. That means they need to educate themselves. They kind of like caught off guard. They're not quite sure what they want to do. So it's just for that person, you just need to make sure you kind of don't put too much energy there with that person quite yet. Allow them to take their time to figure out what they want to do. I'm not saying stop talking to them, but I'm saying, you know, don't get yourself so emotionally attached as much anymore, because that person may decide that they don't want to do it. So with that, you still reach out to them. You know, I'm just still talking to you. We're still good. But with that person, you need to give them about a week. Give them about a week to kind of make their mind up. And then, you know, talk to them like, look, you know, I told you this information. Can you see yourself being with me? And they'll give you an answer by then, because they'll give themselves time to think, educate themselves, things of that nature. And then whatever that answer may be, y'all make a decision. You know, whatever that is, you move forward from there. And your person will know. You cut the person off, you move on. No point of wasting your time, especially if you're looking for a serious relationship. You kind of really don't need them in your circle for what? For what? You don't need an extra friend. You're looking for a husband. You're looking for a wife. You don't need no extra friends. I'm just being completely honest. No point. I like you like me. What's the point of leaving you around when I do get another relationship? You're lingering here. So I would say that person, you just cut off and move on and keep moving. Okay? Got it? Those are the 2 ways. They're very, very effective. I want you guys, if you have a great way that you have used, put it below. Put it in the comments. Like I said, hey, disclosure, it may not work for you. You may not see fit to use these. But if it's you seen something or had something that worked for you, put it below. Everybody got different ways. This could be a great video for somebody who's looking for different ways to disclose to a partner, or a future partner, or this is only for future partners. This, what I'm just saying, is for future partners only. I will do a video on how to tell your current partner, and I'll have that within the series as well. But this is only for potential partners. This is not for any old partners, current partners. This is only for potential partners. So if you have anything that you use, any disclosure scripts or templates that you use, put them below. Give me a thumbs up if this worked for you. Give me a comment and say, Belize, this help. If it worked for you, come back to this video and say, Belize, that works. We're working it out. We're being together with baby kids. You know, tell me what's going on for you guys. And I will highly appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and share this video with somebody who may need it, because I know somebody need it. You can post them in your support groups if you have them. Put me in there. Let me help somebody. Let me help somebody in some way. As y'all know, just some updates. I am doing the tour. Overcomer Gathering Tour. Make sure it's on a Friday. You're going to get a private session with me if you choose to. And Saturday, for sure, we're having a meet and greet from 12 to 2 in Houston and in New York. So make sure those dates are below so you can get those dates. Make sure you get your tickets. They're really affordable. The meet and greet is only $25. And if you want to do the private session and the meet and greet, it's only $65. So make sure you get your tickets below. Still trying to get these locations solidified. I really want them to be intimate and things like that. Not too big. I kind of wanted so we can feel like we at home, we in the house chilling. So, you know, things like that. So that's kind of what I'm looking for at the time. So if you know any really nice venues in New York or nice venues in Houston, please put those below. If you're a business owner and you got a nice venue, put it below and me and you will talk for sure. And I'm still looking for sponsors. Right now, I opened it back up and looking for sponsors for these 2 events where I will market you on my YouTube and my Instagram and my Facebook to all the people who follow me. So you have that option. So I love you guys. I hope this truly helped y'all in so many ways. And we'll be talking soon. If you need me, you know where to find me. You can do a one-on-one session at www.overcomingrthestigma.com and you set up your session from there. But till then, I'll see y'all soon. Peace out.